What is up, UDK Sports Talk family and Knicks Nation? Today I wanted to come on here and react to the New York Knicks postseason matchup in which we will be squaring up against the Atlanta Hawks, the 3 versus 6 seed matchup, which for whatever reason has the media always deciding that this is the matchup that they would like to pick an upset against. And I see a lot of Knicks fans who are kind of concerned about this matchup, and I don't seem to understand why. But before I get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Check off the bell notification icon to become part of the family. Man, let's get into it. So number one, man, y'all have to understand this. These are career-defining legacy moments for Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby. It's been made abundantly clear what the expectations are, and that is the finals. And that is, if I'm being honest, also win the finals with this roster that has now been assembled by Leon Rose. That's the truth. So in my opinion, I've told you guys, I've been consistent with this, that the New York Knicks are a finals team. And if I believe that they are a finals team that can go all the way, why am I ducking the Atlanta Hawks? It doesn't matter who we play. Whoever wants to smoke can get it. Atlanta, Orlando, Charlotte, Detroit, Boston, Cleveland, whoever wants it, y'all can get it. And it really is that simple. And that's the mindset that I'm carrying going into this postseason run with our New York Knicks. And it's this simple, man. We have to understand the journey that we have been on over the last 4 years. Losing to the Miami Heat, a series in which we should have won. Had Tom Thibodeau put Evan Fournier in, who knows if we would have been able to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. The following season, losing to the Pacers in 7 games, in which how much did everybody say that offseason? What if the Knicks were healthy? Would they have been the team to push the Boston Celtics in the ECF, right? The following year, losing in Game 6 to the Pacers in the ECF. You get what I'm saying? We've been knocking on the door for a long time. This is not a 4th season. So for a lot of you guys that seem to forget this group is battle tested. They have went through wars on these postseason runs, and all of these things matter when postseason basketball comes into play. You factor that in now with, I'm just going to speak from a man's perspective. I have children. When you start getting thrown around in trade discussions and you start thinking about your situation may be uprooted and you have to change everything, where you live, the schools that your kids go to, all of these things matter. The quality of life that they have, it all matters. Which is why when you have the trade discussions that were being taken place with some of our core guys, I firmly believe that they're going to be in the postseason justifying their case why they should be here, which means we're going to get escalated play from those guys. All right. So with that being said, you guys all seem to forget this. Postseason basketball is simply about matchups. The Knicks have the experience. They have those calluses already. They know what type of time it is. This is a team that has super high expectations coming into the postseason. And we all seem to somehow forget that they have this much writing on this postseason. Everyone in that locker room knows what type of time it is. Every single one of them. And they're not going to let this opportunity slip. There's no way. Because if they do, guess what's going to wind up happening? Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, potentially Josh Hart. Have a good day. And it's going to be that simple. Because of those things, I don't care who we face. The Atlanta Hawks had a great season. They finished the season off strong. Right now, if we're looking at matchup, right? Jalen Johnson versus Jalen Brunson. What are we talking about, man? Jalen Johnson, heck of a player, but Jalen Brunson is that dude. And for whatever reason, the social media sports world seems to forget this, that Jalen Brunson in the postseason is one of the best players in basketball. I don't know why we seem to forget this. Like, there's not another level that our guys could take it to. Again, we look at some of their players. CJ McCollum, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I like, Gabe Vincent. Kongu is another good player that they have, which allows them to switch. I mean, what are we talking about? I'm going to make it this simple, man. The New York Knicks have everything in front of them right now. If they go into this matchup and play the way that they're capable of playing to their ceiling, this should be no more than a gentleman's sweep. I don't care what nobody's telling me about, well, you're not worried about them being the hottest team in the NBA to close the season. They have Nickeil Alexander-Walker who's playing like his cousin SGA. I don't care. It is this simple. You know what's at stake. Everybody knows what's at stake, man. Finals or bust. Finals or everybody get up and out of here. And that is exactly why I believe that the New York Knicks this Saturday are not going to just beat the Hawks. I believe they're going to send a message to the world to let y'all know. And listen, dog, this is our time. And because of that is why I have all the utmost confidence in this New York Knicks group to get the job done. We saw how when it was ramped up towards the end of the season, we saw how they looked against Atlanta. We saw how they looked against Boston. Now, in theory, it doesn't really matter. It is the regular season, and a lot of you guys know this. Postseason basketball, they blow the whistle less. The defensive pressure, it gets tighter, right? And defenders are allowed to do more to the players on offense, okay? So with that being said, obviously, a team that's defensive oriented, like the Atlanta Hawks, in theory, they should have success going up against the New York Knicks, but vice versa. Now, our guys are going to be able to ramp up the pressure. You see, you can get away with winning off of energy and grit during the regular season because sometimes it's just a matter of them wanting the game more than me, okay? You're in the postseason now, brother. That energy, grit that you had, that advantage that these teams had in the regular season, that goes out the table in the postseason. You want to know why? Because in the postseason, every second, every possession, everything counts, which is why you get the increased urgency and the energy uptick that you get in the postseason because they understand this. If we don't win, we're getting eliminated. That is why I believe the Knicks will meet the threshold that is required to consistently run around with these guys. And when that happens, at that point, it's about stardom. Who has the stars? The New York Knicks have the star power. You see, that's what always beats great defense, great offensive execution. And the Knicks have two guys who are elite scorers and some of the best scorers in the game. Going up against Atlanta, who I love Jalen Johnson, all right? I love Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I love CJ McCollum, but they're not Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Again, I don't know why we try and make this argument as to why the Atlanta Hawks somehow felt like they could upset the Knicks. They rested their starters. You reap what you sow, brother. Y'all want to mess with the bustle that's about to become the New York Knicks? Be my guest. Y'all up first. And that's what it's going to be, and that's the attitude that I'm keeping. But with that said, postseason basketball really is this simple. Every team is working hard. They're not trying to go home. But you know what separates those great teams from the teams that are just hungry getting in it? Them being polished in big time moments. The Knicks have the clutch scorer in those big moments. They know who's getting the ball down the stretch. With the Atlanta Hawks, is it going to be Jalen Johnson? Is it going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Is it going to be Dyson Daniels? You see, these guys are all going into it for the first time. And they're going to experience the game slow down in real time, which in my opinion is going to lead to a lot of poor shooting performances, if I'm being honest, for Atlanta against the Knicks. Because the Knicks defense is going to be tremendously ramped up. They're going to want all the smoke and they're going to want to send a message, okay? Now, with that being said, they're the favorites, right? So right now, per the matchup predictor, it says that the Knicks are 69.6% favorite over the Atlanta Hawks. And the way I look at it is, when we're looking at the stats, right? Atlanta's stats over the course of the season, they're averaging 118.5 points per game, 47% field goal percentage, 43.5 rebounds a game, 30.1 assists, 4.7 blocks, 9.4 steals. Compared to the New York Knicks, who are averaging 116.5 points per game, 48% field goal percentage, 45.6 rebounds per game, 27.4 assists per game, 3.9 blocks, 8.1 steals. This New York Knicks team should be able to beat this Atlanta Hawks team just based off the rebounding alone. If you go double big with Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, they don't have a big. What they like to do is they like to play a 5-out lineup, and when they're on defense, they do have a great defense, but they switch 1 through 5. Okongwu is a small 5. So ideally, if you play through your bigs, you should be able to win this series no problem. Because that's a matchup issue that they're not going to be able to address because they don't have no bigs. I'll say this, man. The key to the Knicks being able to beat them in 5, you need to run the 2-man game with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. That same 2-man game, that pistol action that they were running between Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, those last 2 games, you saw this. And this is why I've been clamoring for this all season long and even last year. And how many times did I come on here and talk about that the New York Knicks need to have a 2-man game between Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. If they do, there should be no reason why they are not as good as Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. And that is 100% the truth. Karl-Anthony Towns can finish around the paint. He can score in the post. He can shoot the mid-range. He can shoot the three. You could mix in the pick and pops. You mix all of that in with Jalen Brunson's ability to finish in the paint, get to the mid-range, get to his bag. And not only does it not only help both of them because they don't have to go off the dribble to generate the action, they're both engaged, which now makes them both have to be defended on every single possession. That is why I've been calling for it, because what ends up happening is the defense has to crash on them if they don't want to let go of the easy layup, which now is going to lead to open opportunities for Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby in the corners. I still don't understand why we brought this out now, but that two-man game that you saw, that's not going nowhere. The more chemistry that they get between Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, that is the piece that has been missing with the New York Knicks. Because when you have that type of action between your two best guys, you're not only going to get wide open looks of OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. This stresses the defense every possession to have to make up. The Knicks get so many open looks off this action, which is why in a series in which the Atlanta Hawks do not have a legit 7-footer, okay, they're going to go up against Karl-Anthony Towns. And if they run this two-man action game, the whole game, you're going to get Karl-Anthony Towns with easy buckets in the paint. And then they're going to have to crash and double Karl-Anthony Towns. And when that happens, you're going to get open looks for your shooters. In theory, postseason basketball, like I said before, is about matchups. The Knicks have a matchup that the Atlanta Hawks are not going to be able to stop. And that's Karl-Anthony Towns. Because it's simply they don't have the size. It's not that they don't have the athleticism. They just don't have the size. And he could just shoot over you in the post. That leads to efficient buckets. Efficient buckets lead to runs being prolonged, right? And at that point, they have to make a decision to double and crash on the pick and roll, which now opens you up for the pick and pop and opens you up for more open three-point shooters. You factor that in with Jalen Brunson, who is one of the best at finishing in the rack, one of the best in the mid-range game, who is extremely skilled. You run that fake and Karl-Anthony Towns is giving him the rock with steam headed towards the basket. And now you try to crash Jalen Brunson. It's either you give up the open layup or he's just going to dish it to the open shooter. This is why I genuinely believe the New York Knicks this postseason are going to be a problem. And that is because it was easy to defend them when Jalen Brunson's going one-on-one ISO to try to get his buckets. It was easy to defend Karl-Anthony Towns when he's taking the ball at the top of the key and he's trying to dribble it to go all the way to the cup. Think about how that changes when now you put them in action and now it doesn't matter if they switch off or not. Every possession matters. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson putting that type of pressure on the defense every single possession leads to foul trouble, leads to you not being able to switch, and leads to the defense having to recover. Okay? That is exactly why I believe that the Knicks should be able to beat the Atlanta Hawks in 5. They should. I'm going to stand on that. Could it go 6? If the Knicks decide to play with their food, all right, and they decide to say, we're not going to run this two-man action and we're not going to run offense through Karl-Anthony Towns, this could go 6. But if they play the way I'm telling you, gentlemen sweep, 5. And I believe the Knicks are going to do that because I believe that they are on a mission this postseason. And they know what's at stake. But with that being said, you guys, I hope I was able to talk you guys down. I see a lot of Knicks fans that were extremely scared of the Atlanta Hawks, and I just couldn't begin to fathom why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I get it. Everybody wanted the Raptors. The Raptors are an easy matchup. Like I said, man, I don't care who you are. The Knicks, in my opinion, if they want to get to where they want to get to be the best, you got to beat the best. I'm not ducking smoke with anybody. And to be quite frank, you got to come and beat us at the Garden. I don't care if we're the 3 seed. We got one of the best home courts to play in. You got to beat us at the Garden. That energy. They know what's going on, man. I'm telling y'all, man. I've been on this since February. How many times have I said this? That the Knicks are going to the finals, and I'm going to stand on it. I genuinely believe in our captain, Jalen Brunson, to bring us all the way. And I'm going to stand on that. But that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Check off the bell notification icon to become part of the family. And with all of that being said, let's go Knicks, baby. It's time. The run starts this Saturday. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go Knicks.